everyone, it's Cindy. Welcome back to Studioloo. So I'm working on a new book, and this is the book. It is called Dark Descent right now. I haven't decided if that's the final name, but essentially it's going to be a book of like more dark gothic art. So I've got the cover sorted out, and I really am quite happy with it. And we've got signatures in there. They're in there. There's tabs happening, all sorts of good tabs, and things sticking out. And then I'm working away on this first signature, because these books take like quite some time. As you know, if you're a junk journal maker, these books take a while. So I've been just kind of working on signature one here, and it is turning out quite wonderfully, I think. I'm quite happy with it. All sorts of good, interesting kind of ephemera being made, and yeah, it's going to come together nicely, I think. So, what do I have left to do? I need to make something to go in this pocket. Yeah, this is good. This little crinkly fun bit. I'm just kind of looking at what I still need to make for the signature. Thinking about what I want to do. If I want to do something on this page, I don't know. This needs something. So I know I need to make like two larger pieces to go in here. We have this here. Her bloody handprints. It's kind of cool. Okay. All right. So we need to make a couple of big pieces. I want to try to stay with the vibe of the signature. Sometimes I feel like inside each one of my journals, like, obviously there's like an overall theme, but I almost look like at like each of these signatures in certain journals as their own kind of mini book within the book. You know what I mean? Like a chapter almost. So I want to do a couple pieces that set the feeling of what we have going on. So I have a bunch of book pages here to decide what I want to use. That would be kind of interesting. It's kind of cool, actually. Let's put that in the maybe pile. This I need to look at it and see. I don't think that page is in the signature where I want to maybe add that to. That would become a pocket, I think. That is cool, and it could fit the vibe of the paper that we have, although not entirely. Although I quite like this one. Let's go with those two. Let's just not overcomplicate it too much. Get my stack out of the way here. So the first thing I think we're going to work on will be, well, let's just remind me. Okay, so I need something for in here. And I kind of think I like the gray piece for that. And then the other thing I need was more toward the back, right? Not there. Get back in there, you. I might tighten that belly band up a little on that. We'll see. It won't matter once it's all bound in the book. Yeah, and that would go well with that. Okay, so let's do maybe a large journal card and a tag. Because I don't want to make like a booklet or anything that's going to add a lot of bulk. I've already got a lot going on in this book, so I'm trying to be a little mindful of the bulkiness. So let's start with the tag. Now I would like to try to get the majority of the mirror here in there. I can bring you in a little closer probably. There we go. So you can see the image here. It's very cool. With this bird here, I don't want to lose this bird, but I want to even this out. Okay. And I'll take a titch off the bottom as well because I don't want it to be too humongous. Okay, so that's good. That's a nice large, tag. So this down. So I'm spending today, I'm doing hopefully I'm going to get time to film a few videos, like a couple at least, because I'm hoping to get some stuff done this week. But I also, oops, glue globs. I also have to make brownies for our movie night at we're going to be doing a Scouts Canada kind of little movie night event with our beavers and cubs, and we're going to watch The Jungle Book, because a lot of like different sort of customary practices, like nicknames that they give to leaders, and like the different kind of activity families and stuff, they get named after a lot of things in The Jungle Book. There's a lot to discuss in The Jungle Book. It kind of links with scouting, and so we're going to show the kids The Jungle Book, and I'm going to make brownies, lovely fudgy deep chocolate brownies with marshmallow bananas on top, kind of fit with the whole jungle kind of theme. It was either coconut or banana, and I went banana. So I have to do that today. Alright, so that is that. Now, I think I'd like to put a little something else on here. I'm just going to look and see what I have. I have too much stuff stacked up on the side of my desk right now. I need to move a few things. So I can access my tray, my little tray of bits and bobs that I pick from. I just have all these projects, like I've been doing this thing, for better or worse, where I've got like certain projects planned, and I've been stacking them up on my little side table here next to my work desk, because I'm like, theoretically, that's a good place to kind of have them to get started, but it's pushing my bitty bop tray that I grabbed from out the way. Now I'm in my tray. I'm just looking through to see what we have. Little bits and bobs, right? Something else to kind of collage on there. It's a little skull, that's kind of cool. I've also got like lots of collaging I need to do for this book. It might be nice to have like a butterfly on there, or moth. Maybe. Needs to be heavily inked though. It's really bright. I've also got these little mushroom. That could be nice if we just ink the edge up a lot. Yeah, I kind of like that. It's sort of like there's two main mushrooms, and they're slim and tall and amber in color. They kind of just go nicely with the whole vibe of this. But first I need to ink it up because it's too bright for this. So I was deciding what journal should I make next, like what should I do next, and I was between kind of like grabbing the tote of all of the retro 80s 90s nostalgia kids kind of thing, but I was thinking, like, you know, it's been a while since I did like a darker, gothier, witchier kind of book, and I know some of my audience are like kind of here for that, and like I know that like some people like certain things. So if this is not for you, if you find this like really outside your style and you're like a new person here, please stick around, because I work across a lot of different themes. So I guess I would challenge you to kind of stick around even if this isn't your thing. And you know, I kind of feel the same way about like whenever I'm working on something that's got like a childhood theme and that's not really your thing, you're more into like the, you know, artsy or witchy or, you know, whatever kind of books, please stick it out, because I have like a very wide range of things I work on. I think a lot of people will liken it to like, you know, I heard the term, but I don't like the term because it kind of aligns itself with, you know, mental health, but like crafter ADHD or artist ADHD, where you hop from this to that to this to that or something. It's like really a generalization, and I think I don't like to use anything like ADHD or any other condition to define something I don't personally have. But I guess it's like I've heard it so many times that that's why I reference it. You know, for people who hop around from thing to thing, because that's kind of my style, which is also like challenging when you're trying to establish a style, when you don't kind of conform to a style, right? It's like a weird thing, but that's a really nice piece of art. This is Death and the Maiden by Lori Lipton, pencil on paper. Just awesome. Just awesome art. Just going to take a little bit off here. Now, this I need to fit into that cabinet card pocket thing. Where is it? Here. So, I've got quite a good amount of space, really. So this could go from here, I would say, to about there. So let's just do like a little fold. And that's the size that can be. And then width-wise, I think we got to go to about here. So I do need to trim a little bit more, and that's okay. I can do it from the other side. Set this aside, and I'm just going to set this aside now because I'm going to do a bit of stitching, and also I think add like a little trim or something on top of that. So I'm going to just cut a piece of this. I mean, I actually probably could just glue it too and let it sit while we're working on the other piece. Oops. So I would say that spring is starting to show its head. Yesterday, you know all those men who wear shorts like the minute that like it goes to +1? They were out yesterday. That's my first sign of spring, is you see all those men in shorts here in Canada, like when it makes like no sense to be in shorts and they're in shorts. I say that playfully. But yeah, they were out yesterday, so spring it's coming. But it was so foggy yesterday, and it was kind of interesting. You know, I don't know what the name of the interesting thing that happens when, like, there's a lot of snow still on the ground, but it's getting warm, and like it's like watching the water cycle kind of live. Like you're watching this white steam rising from snowbanks. It almost looks like a snowdrift in the wind, but it's going upward. It's literally just, you know, evaporating, vaporizing into the air, and it's very cool to watch. So that was happening a lot yesterday. We went out for a little bit, and like we saw the snowdrift steaming happening, and that was cool. Yeah, so we'll take the back of this off, and that should be good, I would say. Yeah, that should be good. Let's just, you know, validate that we're doing this right. Here it is. Okay. Now it can stick out a titch. I kind of want it to stick out a little bit so you can see it and grab it. And I might even put like a little grabber, a little handle to grab it. So yeah, it's kind of complicated to like go outside and do a whole lot of things right now, just because it's just so wet. Like I've been thinking I'd like to go out walking today, and I'm like trying to think of where to go that has like a decent like walking path, you know, that I'm not going to be, it's not thick enough. It's a little thin. And I'm not going to be like traipsing through mud and water puddles. There's this like intersection that's kind of between where I live and the next town over that I visit often. And it's like notoriously bad for flooding, and like I don't know, I think it's because there's like on the one, like it's like it used to be a farmer's field, and you know the sad truth is a lot of farmer's field these days are being sold to private equity to, you know, build all this real estate, all these houses. Ugh, you know, too much. And they sit dormant for years while the farmland just wastes away. It's very frustrating. And then eventually, you know, they build on it. But this particular area has been sitting for many, many years now, just being unkempt. And so, like, you know, because there's no plants there to soak up the water, and all the soil is just every year having its nutrition, you know, its nutrients baked out of it from the sun. It's not being watered. It's not being given any new nutrition. It's like, it's just become like a little floodplain because it's very low. So the road is actually flooding every year. And I keep thinking to myself, like, are they going to do anything about this? Because somebody is going to, like, inevitably, you know, get in this flood water and bad things can happen. I don't know. But we'll see. I think I'm going to keep this tab on the side of this and just ink it up. That could be fun. We could even put an eyelet or something in there, which would be also fun. So yeah, I'm not trying to get all drenched. And I think I'll just ink the edge too. So I was watching this morning, I follow this YouTube channel called Garden State Tortoises, and so this guy, he is very cool. He has like a rescue where he rescues, you know, turtles and tortoises and raises them in the right conditions, because, you know, unfortunately the pet trade industry has a lot of people that buy these animals not being told the truth and not knowing how to care for them. And, you know, the sad thing with turtles and tortoises is that they metabolize everything, and everything in their life is so slow, right? So unfortunately what that means is they end up suffering for a long time in the wrong conditions. But, like, it takes a long time to notice visibly how they decline, and because of that, you know, it's sad. And that's why, you know, if you ever want to get a pet, especially like an exotic pet, really and truly do a lot of research beyond what you see from, you know, pet trade type sources, because these people, they want to make a sale. They lie. They, you know, a lot of times they're also connected to a very shady, you know, industry of illegally importing animals from country to country. And I don't know. I think there's a reason that we don't, you know, drop an elephant in the middle of Toronto. And it's the same for things like sugar gliders and tortoises and all of that, because they just don't belong in this environment. And, you know, it's very expensive and difficult to, like, give them an environment that they can thrive in. But people don't realize that, and then they end up buying these pets, often for, you know, gifts for holidays, which is also a bad decision. And then the poor animal has to suffer. So I was watching this morning one case of, like, something like that. So right now, Garden State Tortoises, they're working with this one beautiful tortoise, and its name is Biggins. It's a big tortoise, and for many years, you know, it lived in bad conditions, like, and it was eating little stones because it had a calcium deficiency because its diet wasn't correct. So now it has this essentially blockage of these, you know, stones inside of it, and they're trying their darndest to get them out. But, you know, surgery on a tortoise is not easy at all. And so they just learned this morning that, like, well, in their video this morning, I should say, that, like, where this blockage is, it's actually kind of good news. It's not higher up in the digestive tract. It's, like, down in the colon. So, like, it's set up to move through without any kind of surgical intervention. But, like, you know, it's probably going to take months for that to happen. And it's going to require, like, you know, costly CT scans and all of that. So, I am hoping that it goes well. I've been kind of following the story of this tortoise for a while now. And I'm just really hoping for the best for it because, I don't know, you get emotionally invested in these things, right? All right, so that's kind of cool. The yarn there, that's fun. All right, so we can put that one in, and then I think I still want to maybe, what if I should stitch around this one or just ink it? I stitch so much. Maybe like I can not stitch one for once and see how I feel about it. Okay, so let's put this in here. Oh yeah, it's exactly what I was hoping for. Okay, perfect. Yay. So yeah, then we'll have this cool tab back here, and I love that with the eyelet. That looks cool. Okay. So, let's just try inking this and see if I feel contented. I'm going to go in just directly with the ink pad on the edge. Okay. And then we will ink up the back a little too. And I also found this cool YouTube channel I was watching this morning that's like, it's called like Inside of Castles or something. And they were covering like the castle that was used for the film Nosferatu, like the original. Oh, so cool. Like what an incredible and interesting, weird castle. Like it's always neat to see castles where they're on like a cliff edge, right? And like they're built like essentially to become just a part of the cliff. Like it's such a, you know, gothic romantic kind of thing, right? It's just really neat. All right, so let's put this away in here. I think this one's more toward the back, right? Where is it? There it is. Okay, yeah, here. Oh yeah, that's great. Fun. Okay. And I love this. This is a boiled book page from that opera book. So it's just like a lady's hand with like a pearl bracelet coming down, and it's like all the fun like boiled book. I think I'm going to make another boiled book maybe today because I have the roses that I received from my family for Valentine's Day. Actually, they're just starting to kind of look like, okay, you know, we're done. So I'm going to probably do a couple boiled books with them. That will be good. Good. Okay, so I think that signature for now is quite put together. So we can move on to the next one. This book right now has 7 signatures. I don't know if that's going to change or not. We'll see. It could become less if I get too chunky. And then what I do in that case is I work in all the coolest parts of the signature pages I've created before they're decorated. And like, I want to keep them in the book, but I take all the extra pages out. So I just add like, you know, those 3 or 4 pages where I pulled them for a purpose. So I want to do something on here. Like a notebook or a belly band, or, you know, some kind of a, like a door that comes off that has like writing space. Let's give it some thought. Okay. So, how big is this? Okay. I'm going to use this white piece of paper. I actually pulled this to use in the journal, and then I ended up not needing it. But it will be a good base for what I want to do. And I need to trim it down a bit from down here. So I think I'll just begin with a project specifically for that space. Put my over here. I have enough space for like storing signatures. on this desk right now. Let's use this piece of paper just as a background. So I think first I'd like to come in with some of this tea dye Distress ink. Okay. Little outline with this black. Very nice on the torn edges. A little overlap with the corners. There we go. Yeah, I'll put that up at the top because that's pretty fun. Keep trying to like use up the scraps on my desk from my like bits and bobs bin. I've been succeeding at that a little bit, which is good. And then maybe something like that would be kind of interesting. It's a Kristen Farrell piece. Let's go for it. I think that would be an interesting like way to do like a bit of a Dutch door. So I need to glue it down to make it stronger. I forgot to bring water downstairs, silly me. Alright, so let's get this cut out with fussy cut scissors. We ended up just going out yesterday to the mall for a little bit, having lunch, and then taking the kids to Miniso because my daughter loves these dolls, these certain kinds of dolls, and she got an interesting doll. And my son, he is more snack driven at this stage of life, so he got a Mario Brothers like toy slash little snack thing, and yeah, we did a little walk around, but I feel like I haven't been out enough this weekend, so I'm going to try to do something fun. Yeah, that will be cool. I think that's nice on that background. Now I just need to ink the back of this though, because it'll look a little too bright. And I'll go with tea dye again rather than black this time. I decided to switch up my color that I grab on my desk all the time from Vintage Photo to tea dye. Also, it's just because I'm like, I know I have another vintage photo ink pad, which I need to replace this one with, but I don't know. It's in my stack of like unopened ones, and I've got to look through. Because I still have a few of them that aren't put away properly, like in this organized stack that I have of unopened distress inks. I used to kind of shove them on this shelf, which is actually in front of me. It's behind my desk. And I had like one place I would put them, but then I started putting them in like random places whenever I would get one. Because sometimes I buy them specifically for one project. Like if I'm doing like an ocean journal, I'll probably buy like a, you know, a stormy sea or something like that, like a new, if I don't already have it, kind of ink pad. And then maybe I don't get to doing the project as quickly as I thought I was. So we end up with a little bit of a calamity sometimes. But on the most part, I have done a good job of keeping this shelf like very organized and very dusted. Ever since I got that little, I don't know if I shared, I got like this little tiny vacuum thing for vacuuming out my sewing machine, but it's actually amazing for just tidying up. Like, you know, when you sand something, or, you know, just generally dust gets on your lights and that sort of thing if you're filming. It's been really handy for just keeping things tidy. So highly recommend tiny vacuum. Okay, yeah, that's fun. I like her there. And then when you open it, yeah, that's great. Okay. So I do think, though, more than likely we can put a pocket in here, like from this side. I think that might be good. Yeah. So now I need to find something that I want to make the pocket out of. And I do have a few things here. Like, I have lots of these kind of strips left over, so I could do like a pocket that was like a strip like that, but no. I think I want something a little more organic. I don't know. And I have loads of this stuff that I used on the front of the book. I might use some of it in the book too, but I'm also sort of thinking I also would like to hoard some for printing paper with, because it's that plastic, you know, stuff. But this one I kept it for actually using in journals because it's gold, so I'm kind of on the fence. And I do have a lot of those doilies already, specifically that are for my dyeing antics. Well, this could be cool. So what is this? This is a scrap. Kind of like, yeah, that might be kind of great for a pocket. We're just going to kind of redefine this whole thing. Kind of feels like a serpent coming out of the water, even though that's not at all what it is. But this looks like the side of a ship. I like that because it just blends in well, but I think this thing's going to be weak unless I back it with something else, which I could do. Like another piece of paper actually from that same scrap maybe. Yeah, like that. I can just glue it right down. Yeah, that'd be very fun. It has like a cargo kind of look to it. Like it looks like it's, you know, a cargo piece or something. So let's put glue on this weak point right here. And then all back here. It's going to go a little higher. I didn't realize that. There we go. Okay. Don't worry about the excess glue. It's art glitter, so it's going to dry clear. Perfect. Yeah, that's fun. Okay. So let's go ahead and put that pocket there. Okay. That would be a good pocket. Okay. I'll try to define the pockets first if I can. That. Okay, so yeah, we need something on here. What do I want to do? You know what I need? I need Priscilla's Randomera list. I need to print it out again. I think I had it printed out and then I stuck it in something, and it's such a good list. I have my own too, but I think I keep it in my idea journal, which doesn't serve me well when I'm sitting here, so I should probably like put it near me so that, you know, when I'm working on things, I can find it. Let me see. Here we go. Also, the Cabinet of Curiosity Prompts is like the current challenge that Release the Craftin' is running. It would actually fit really well here with this book. And I wanted to participate for March, but I was feeling kind of burned out because I did the whole Fine Arts Taguary for February. So I thought like I need a break for March, but like, oh, I'm so sad. I'm watching it and I'm loving it. It's not just Priscilla. There's another host. Oh, why is it not coming to my brain? Hold on. I feel like I'm doing such a disservice to this by not knowing. Tiff, that's her name. So it's Amethyst Raven 342 is her channel, and she is so creative. I knew her channel name, I just couldn't remember her name, and sometimes I feel bad like just calling people by their channel names. But anyway, so they're collaborating all month long, doing like Curiosa type stuff. Like today is, what is today? Today is March the 8th as I film this. So on the 8th, the prompt is Wood Note. A wild or natural musical tone as that of a forest bird. Like, I'm going to need to do these because, like, wow. Not surprised by the brilliance of those two. They always are brilliant and, like, you know, muses. That's one of the most fun things about YouTube collaboration is just you end up getting to be, like, friendly with so many interesting, cool people. I should link below the challenge. I'll try to remember to do that. Let me write it down because, you know, my mind is a sieve sometimes. That happens. And by the time I get editing, so let me link a couple things. So one is the Curiosity Prompts, and the other is just the Randomera. So it's a list of like ephemera making prompts. that Priscilla put together that you can use for inspiration in moments like this where I'm like, I don't just want to keep doing pocket tag, you know, like you need to mix it up, right? And I mean, usually the materials for me inspire me. Like if I look at something and it has a certain shape to it, that's kind of what I go with. But like I really find the list helpful too, to kind of keep me going. So let me think. I would like to probably do something with a CD envelope could be good on this. I think I've got a lot of them and I've been wanting to use them up. Yeah, I might do that. So let me grab a CD envelope. Alrighty, so here we go. We have an envelope here. Now we can, I think, start modifying it. So this particular signature, it has an overall slate green feel to it. So I'm just going to keep that in mind as I get working on this. So the first thing I think I'm going to do is do a general tea dye over the whole thing, just to age it a little. This top flap too. I like to cover anywhere that has like glue on it, although these are not particularly gluey. Only the front's going to show though, so I'm not going to go too wild on it. Then I'm going to grab some peeled paint, Distress ink as well, to add like that green tone I was mentioning. Now I need to find something for the background here. And I want something that is thick, like, so it's not hard to put in. I've got this Tim Holtz scrap, actually, that might be kind of perfect. This needs to get trimmed down a bit. Where's my chopper, my little chopper? Oh, it's buried under that. The book itself that I am making. It's buried under it. Let's get the big guy in here. So, first I'll just cut this off, because it's a pest. Then, we want this to be, yeah, right there. Good, 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 good. And then we need to trim like just a titch off the side here. And then that should fit right in here and give us our background. Yep. And then I can decide, do I want to put anything on the background? Perhaps. Maybe this. So let's cut this out. A little bit of slow, fussy cutting today. Need to go upstairs and get water. Been doing a lot of baking this week, actually, and just generally cooking. I made crepes for breakfast yesterday. I finally so I've been wanting to buy myself just a little simple electric crepe maker, because like they're better than a stovetop crepe pan, because like you can get really even on the the heat, right? Like the whole surface is very even, and they come with a nice like wooden pastry spreader and wooden paddle, and it's just a nice experience overall to use them. So I finally splurged on that and got it and made crepes yesterday. I made like crepes with strawberries and Nutella and some strawberry white chocolate and cream for the kids. And then I made asparagus crepes for the adults, and they had like a nice, I bought this really nice cheese. It was like it wasn't Gouda, was it? Maybe it was Gouda. I can't remember, but it had orange peel in it. Oh, it was so good. So like a bit of salt, and it just was so nice. So yeah, that was my little breakfast yesterday. It was fun. Have crepes. I do love crepes. Okay, yeah, that's cool. Cool art. Cool art. But then I think, I want to use this even as a pocket, right? So I'm going to glue this in to the back of here. You definitely could make it like its own journal card for sure. The only reason that I'm not is because I want to have a nice backing to this pocket, and I don't want this coming in and out, because then we end up with that white back again, right? So I specifically made this to be the backing of the pocket. And then I have this little label I'm going to put here, I think, because it doesn't interfere in any way with that. Okay. Then I need to find something to go in this pocket from this art book, and I'm like, I still want it to be very cool, and I'm thinking of using a Scott Radke image from this book, Gothic Art. Scott Radke is I hesitate to call him a friend, but he kind of is a friend, in that like we've been Facebook friends, we've been live journal friends, we've been friends for a long time online. Like I don't know him in person, but I followed his work and I love his work, and I have done so for decades. Okay, so let's try popping that in here and seeing if we get, yeah, that's what I was hoping to see, like the little bird nest there. That is fun. And then deciding if I want to keep the flap. Maybe we do this. We fold the flap so it's not as long. So you get that little peak of the head coming out there too. That's pretty cool. Okay, yeah, let's do that. So that requires us now to glue this flap down. There, and then here. And then just come in again with the ink. Perfect. Okay, so now I gotta back this journal card. Is that, oh, it's just wide enough. Love it, love it. And I need to hurry and do this before I develop too much sadness that I can't also use the image on the back of this book page. But it is what it is. I should also link to Scott Radke because he's just very cool. While I'm making a links list for you. he has become so adorably wholesome also. In his home, he feeds birds and little critters, and he just makes the loveliest little videos, which you can follow on probably his Instagram and Facebook. If you're on Facebook, he has a very fun, I might leave that up there too, but ink it, right? He has like a really lovely life. His, I'm not sure if she's his wife or his girlfriend, is also an artist, very talented. So the two of them are just powerhouse of like creative inspiration, and very cool. These aside. Okay. So now what I think I'd like to do with this is actually copper gilding wax, because I think it'll go nicely with the colors here. Where's my sandpaper? Here it is. So I'm going to create a little distressing. And then we can use some of the gilding wax to get into those creases where we distressed. So it will stick to the paper core much better than the shiny coating on the paper. I also just love the look of little fine creases and crackles in my work. Okay. I love doing things like this because it feels like a tiny little collaboration with an artist that I love. Like decorating their work. It's kind of fun. Oops, that's the wrong inker. But I guess I should probably use the ink I just put on it. Because it's actually my brown inker. That's fine. Alright. That's fun. This is fun. Let's put them together and start a riot. Speaking of starting a riot, so I'm thinking of the book title, Let's Start a Riot by Bruce McCulloch. So my husband and I are both huge fans of Kids in the Hall. It was a Canadian comedy sketch show, maybe similar to like what you would experience in the US as like Mr. Show. They were, I would say they ran in the same kind of vein of funny sketch comedy, and or SCTV if you're a little bit, you know, more advanced in age. I love all those shows, but you know, each generation kind of had their own, and then all of us, I guess, you know, we all celebrate like things like Saturday Night Live, which is kind of fun. So anyways, Kids in the Hall. So I sent my husband to the theater in, well, it's a church actually in Paris, which is used as a concert and show venue. And he went a couple weeks ago now to see Bruce McCulloch's latest comedy tour, which is called Dark Purple Slice. And he had so much fun. And then he ended up meeting Bruce at the end of the show, and it was so nice. My husband like took a picture with him. He got his record signed because he bought his record, and like he did this whole sketch about support stuffies. So he said, like, you know, Bruce McCulloch had said, like, so who's had, you know, a hard week? Who, you know, and so like some people would talk about having had a hard week at work, and so he would throw them a support stuffy. So then he said at one point, who's just lost a family pet? And we unfortunately had just lost Toasty, our 16-year-old Chihuahua. So my husband puts his hand up, and so he gets this support stuffy, and so at the end they all got to come up on stage to like return the stuffy, but also like take a bow with Bruce, and like it was really nice. And my husband, you know, he's been inspired by his own comedy, because my husband has worked in comedy and film and all those kind of things. And so, you know, Bruce was a really big inspiration, like a big part of his childhood and how he grew up and developed his own comedy style. And so it was a really big moment for him. And I was like so happy he got to meet him. I've seen him. I've seen, like, I mean, I used to go to the Kids in the Hall shows, like at the Rivoli many years ago. I'm dating myself, but yeah, they're just a really funny group. I'd say like Bruce and Kevin are my, like, and Dave Foley are like are my favorite three. Scott, I really liked Scott, and I had actually planned to go see him in his Buddy Cole show that he was going to have last year at the Rose Theatre. It ended up getting canceled, but I was actually very disappointed in him this past year, because he was supporting this very I'd say toxic man who, like, is anti-trans and I mean, he's just he's a loudspeaker, and he got arrested, like, at an airport for threatening someone. And I guess that the point that Scott Thompson was trying to align with was that he felt like it was this man's free speech under attack. But, like, when you're making anti-trans comments that are causing people to, like, actually face very awful, both, you know, political and potentially physically threatening things in life, you know, trans people are some of the most victimized people with violence. And so, like, it bothered me. And it bothered me also that Scott Thompson would choose to align himself with the remarks of this man. He ended up tweeting out, like, you know, some supportive tweet. And at that moment, it just kind of, like, froze me. It was one of those, like, icks. Like, once you reach, you know, a moment with someone and they say or do something that's kind of just against your whole, you know, like, not to say I wouldn't give him a chance, but he would need to apologize and also, like, express his mistake, like how he made it, what he misunderstood. Because I just feel like, you know, and I'm going on a little tangent here, I won't make it too long, but, like, if you've made your entire entertainment career dressing as a woman, right? So, like, you know, you're in that trans space. You're also a gay man, you know, so you fall into the same LGBTQ plus, like, space, you know, like you get all the support from people who are in fact the ones that this terrible, like, men's rights activist type guy is speaking against. Like, you got to make a lot of money, you got to get a lot of fans, you've had tons of support, all within the LGBTQ plus space, right? And then to stand against them in any way like that attacks their identity, I was very bothered by that. So I canceled my tickets to his show, which ended up getting canceled anyways. But so he's not really on my list anymore of, like, people that I'm interested in, even though he's part of, you know, Kids in the Hall. But the rest of them are great. I'm just yeah, I'm not cool with people who are, like, you know, just proliferating hate for no reason. Like, there's well, I mean, for any reason. There's never a reason to you know, be hateful like that. So yeah, it was disappointing, but Bruce will be Bruce, and he is all about loving and being awesome. He actually did this whole talk about it, like how he became a better person. Like, he talked about how, you know, early in his career, you know, he struggled with things like ego and, you know, how he realized, like, it's more important to be a good person to work with than it is to be, like, you know, getting your own way as, like, a director or being in charge of, like, the scope of a comedy skit. Like, you know, because I know I heard over many years that, like, some of them would fight with each other, and I think, like, Scott and Bruce didn't get along so well, and I think, like, Dave and Scott also didn't get along so well, and, like, I don't know, but I mean, they've pulled together to do tours and stuff, but I'm also really happy to follow their individual careers, like, because they're all in their own right just great comedians. Like, Dave Foley has obviously acted in a lot of films. Kevin Thompson? No. Yes. I don't remember. My life. My brain. It's wearing out today. But Kevin, he's voiced a lot of, like, different cartoon characters, and he's acted in a lot of things. He also has his own tour, which I have never seen just him live, and I would love to, because he's so funny. But on that note, let me end with a really fun part of this journal, which is this Escher pop-up. Whee! Look at that. Isn't that so fun? I made this page yesterday using all of these pages, and it's all stitched together and cool with this pop-up in the middle. Whee! Isn't that so fun? And it's like a figure 8, and it's just really cool. And it also serves as a tab, which is pretty awesome, but it's kind of buried in all the other tabs, which protects it and keeps it, you know, pristine. So that is, I think, the little bit that I'm going to do today on this book. We made some progress, and I feel good about it, and I'm going to keep working on it. I might do another video or two on this one. These books, like this particular type of book I'm making right now, I think there's just a lot of imagination has to go into it, and a lot of, you know, different kind of parts. So yeah, it's going to take me a while unless I get some really good long focused days. But thank you for joining me for this one. I will be back. I have a fun little mini series I think I'm going to do inspired by my lovely friends that I do round robin with, and so stay tuned for that. And outside of that, take good care of you. Let me know what you're working on. I would love to know. And also, what are your thoughts on this book so far? How do you feel about Gothic art? If it's not your thing, I totally get it. But I would say stick around. It's not the only thing I do. So yeah, I'm here for all sorts of different themes of things. So take good care of you, and we'll talk soon. Bye for now.